friends, I'm Alexi. I use any pronouns, and this is a channel about recovering from substance use disorder. Oh boy, I expected to make this video a lot sooner than I am, but I've just really been resistant to getting in front of the camera again. I don't know why. Maybe something I should work out with myself, do some journaling about. Big advocate of journaling, although I haven't been doing it very often lately. I haven't been doing a lot very often lately. I've been in a slump, partially because I'm still unemployed, still trying to apply for jobs, still not getting really any responses back. It's kind of dampened the mood. But we are going forward. We are adapting a positive mindset. We are looking on the bright side, which leads me into my check-in. As I did last time, we're going to do a check-in so I can let you know how I've been doing lately, and hopefully you can take this check-in and think about how you've been doing lately. So, first things first, 2 positives. I have gotten all of my songs finished for my upcoming EP. I make electronic music. It's fun. I'm wearing my shirt right now. I guess I'll link that down below if anybody wants to check it out. Not really the focus here, but that's okay. I got all of my songs finished. I still need to mix them and make sure they all sound great together. But that's a large portion of the work done for an album that comes out in 21 days. So I'm really happy about that. Second positive. I've been going for walks a lot lately, and I've been re-listening to Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archives. Just started, so that's fun. One of my favorite book series of all time. Has helped me out immensely with my mental health, surprisingly. This series was pushed onto me by a friend who loves it as a fantasy series. No, how did he put it? A self-help book disguised as a fantasy series. And he wasn't wrong. So if you like fantasy books, I highly, highly recommend them. They're very good. They're very different. Not a lot of the same cliches that you'll get from a lot of other fantasy books. Brandon Sanderson knows what he's doing. And they're also very well researched for topics that he doesn't have personal familiarity with, which I think is great. Okay. Urges and cravings. Yes. I don't really know how I've been stopping myself, because oh boy, I really want to get high. I do. I mean, it's part of recovery. I really want to get high, and I know I can't. And it's been a problem. I think I've mostly just been distracting myself with other things, especially because not having a job. What I used to do when I did have a job was anytime I was at home, I would be smoking. So now I'm home all the time. And so the addict part of my brain is like, well, you should be smoking all the time. Which obviously I'm not. I am still sober from weed. It's been, hang on, I wrote this down. Today will be day 49 for me of no weed. And that's crazy. Time flies. I don't know how I've made it this long. I really do just think I just keep distracting myself. I always have something in my ear. I'm always watching something, listening to something. Always got something distracting my brain in that way. And that's been a big help. That's a skill I learned, actually. That's a skill I learned from taking LSD, is to avoid having a bad trip or going down the wrong rabbit holes. If you always have some music on or a movie on, you've got sort of a through line that you can just follow anytime anything starts getting a little off. And that's been really helpful for me in sober life as well. So there's a tip. If any of you do experiment with LSD and you've been like, hey, I have problems going down rabbit holes, well, maybe that'll help you. I don't know. Like I said in my first video, I am drug neutral. If you really want to do drugs, that's your prerogative. I'm pro legalization. I don't think, drugs are inherently evil. I think that some people, including myself, have these chemical reactions and dependencies on them that should then be treated as a medical issue, as mine was. I don't think the solution is to criminalize these things or throw people in jail or demonize people for using drugs. I don't think that shit works. I think it just makes society afraid, and I think it makes these drugs sort of alluring that they're illegal. Like, why doesn't the government want me to try this? What are they keeping from me? Kind of a thing. And I think there are instances where certain drugs are a benefit to people. I think LSD in particular, I have had some very good experiences with. I can't take it anymore because I'm on a medication that combined with LSD will kill me. So I definitely have to stay away from that. But I do think that these things can be benefits sometimes if they're used in appropriate ways. And it's got to be appropriate. That's all I think. I'm a big fan of the studies that have been done, especially in Canada, about psychedelics used for therapeutic reasons. I think those are great. I think those should continue. I think we should bring them down here to the U.S. I think that would help a whole lot of people. I think I've especially seen it as being very useful for people with PTSD, which is hell. And anything we can do to help people with PTSD is awesome. I have a friend who has done some ketamine treatments for his medication-resistant depression, and that has helped him out. So I know that, like, these things in the proper context, in the proper situations, some of these things can be very helpful to people, and I'm all for that. Any kind of additive that helps you, I think, is a good thing. I just know that for me, it wasn't helping any longer. It was hurting me. And that's why I needed to stop. And I have. And so far, as Peter Mon says, when we're in recovery, we do not borrow time. So every day is its own day. But so far, I have been good at not using, despite my cravings and my desire to, and my wanting to get out of my own head. That's a big piece of it, which speaks more to how I feel about myself than anything else, I think. Which goes into what I'm going to talk about today for skills. So, now this is a children's worksheet, which is why it's got this cute little tiger over here in a diaper. Okay, cool. But this is something that is very important and good to learn. And the other worksheet I know for doing positive affirmations, I looked it up and I was able to find it, but it was being hosted illegally because the terms of service in the worksheet itself say not to upload it onto a website, and this school had uploaded it onto their website. So that's why you can find it, and that's probably where my therapist got it from. But I don't feel comfortable breaching these people's copyright right now. So we're going to use this worksheet instead. So this talks about the benefits of positive affirmations daily, which is what you want to do, essentially, is you want to have your positive affirmations and go over them every day so they actually stick in your brain. Daily positive affirmations have become a fundamental part of self-improvement practices, and for good reasons. They are short, powerful statements that, when repeated consistently, can significantly impact our mindset, behaviors, and overall well-being. Delving into the depth of their influence, we uncover 5 primary benefits of integrating daily positive affirmations into one's life. This is not written as though it's for children. The reinforcement of positive self-belief. The mind is an extremely malleable entity shaped by both internal and external influences. So when we're in recovery, our brain is doing a lot of things all at once to try and get back to where it functioned before we started using, right? And if you want to give it the best possible outcome for changing into a healthy brain system, you might want to start talking about these positive self-beliefs that you can have over yourself, where you think, instead of, I think a common belief for people in recovery is, I'm so stupid. How could I have gotten addicted in the first place, right? But with addiction, it's not about your choices, right? Yes, you chose to use drugs. Okay, that's fine. As I said before, I think that's a morally neutral thing to do. I don't think it's bad to use drugs. I think it's bad to do hurtful things to people in order to get those drugs, which is something that a lot of addicts can do. But that's a different subject, right? That's a different choice. And it's a choice we often feel pressured into making because of the addiction, right? So we've got other things going on in our brains, right? And the best way to set yourself up for success with this is to reinforce these positive self-beliefs. These beliefs of, instead of, oh, I'm so stupid, how could I possibly have gotten addicted? Maybe you have to reframe that and look at it like, there were reasons I got addicted, and I have to deal with those reasons now that I'm in recovery. And that does put some responsibility back on you. You have to deal with those things to maintain your recovery, right? You can't just ignore them and pretend they're not there. That's not going to help you. But taking ownership of that and saying, well, I can be responsible for these things. I can be responsible for how I view myself. That's a great first step, because you can. Everyone can. This is a thing that is possible for all humans to do. We can have responsibility over how we see ourselves. It's taken a lot of conditioning, especially if you're an adult like I am. It's taken a long time of being shown these things about yourself by the world and about how you should see yourself. But you have the power to take back ownership of yourself and to view yourself in a new light. And I think that's really powerful. Often negative experiences or societal pressures can lead to diminished sense of self-worth, like I was just talking about. Positive affirmations act as corrective reminders, emphasizing our inherent value, abilities, and potential. By consistently reminding ourselves of our worth and capabilities, we counteract the negative beliefs and narratives that may have taken root. Over time, this fosters a robust sense of self-belief, which becomes a sturdy foundation for all our endeavors. Positive self-belief, very important. Very important. Cultivation of an optimistic outlook. If you don't think you can succeed, you're probably not going to succeed. Right? You've got to be able to believe in yourself that you can. If I didn't think that I could choose not to use, I would have already used again. But I have faith in myself, and I know that these are my actions and I have the ability to choose. Regular exposure to positivity inevitably brightens one's perspective. By repeatedly focusing on uplifting and constructive thoughts, we condition our mind to lean towards optimism. The shift in perspective is not just about feeling good, although I will say it can make you feel very good. It enhances our resilience. Resilience is so important, especially in this world of negativity and just being put down all the time. We watch advertisements that tell us we're not good enough because they want us to buy products, right? You have to have some kind of resilience to negate that, basically. Otherwise, you're going to be blowing all your money on everything that gets advertised to you because you think you're not good enough without this product, right? With an optimistic outlook, we are better equipped to handle challenges, viewing them not as insurmountable obstacles, but as temporary hurdles to be overcome. So you can overcome these temporary hurdles, having that faith in yourself and belief in yourself that you can handle a lot of what life throws at you. That's your resilience. That's your inner strength, right? That's very important. And these positive affirmations can really help if you actually like find some that are good for you and that you believe in, you know. Enhancement of focus and clarity. Affirmations aren't merely about positive self-view. They also help to clarify our goals and aspirations. By verbalizing what we want to achieve or the kind of person we aspire to be, we bring into focus our desires and objectives. This consistent reminder acts as a beacon, guiding our daily actions and decisions towards realizing those ambitions. It's like setting a mental GPS, with our affirmations leading the way. So, one of the things that was very present in my mind when I started doing work with affirmations was the kind of life I want to lead, the kind of person I want to be, right? Just as they're saying here, having a guiding light for who you want to be and focusing on that, right? And one thing that kept coming up for me over and over, because I've always been a very creative person, I have so many different hobbies and passions, I wanted to be able to express myself creatively and to go forward without fear of what the results would be, right? And the main thing for me that I realized when I was doing my intensive therapy program was that music is such a huge thing for me. And I really, really wanted to really dive deep into music and see what I could do with that, what I could make of myself with that. And that really jump kicked me into making this latest EP that I'm coming out with, and jump kicked me into, you know, when I have a little time at night, when I'm home from therapy, when I have my time, instead of smoking a bunch and not having the energy anymore because I'm so fried, right, to do any of my hobbies, to do any of these things I want to do. Instead of that, I have a clear mind. I can go forward and work on these projects, and they're coming out really good. You know, so I have personally seen tangible results from orienting myself into the kind of person I want to be using these positive affirmations. And I think they can work for you too. I really do. So, reduction of stress and anxiety. The psychological benefits of positive affirmations are profound. By emphasizing tranquility, capability, and positivity, these affirmations can act as a calming agent, reducing feelings of anxiety and overwhelm. In moments of stress, recalling or repeating an affirmation can be a grounding experience, reminding us of our strength, worth, and the transient nature of challenging situations. So this brings me back to almost the section of prayer, right, from the improved worksheet we did last time. Instead of literally praying, you can repeat your positive affirmations over and over again, right? Even in such a way of, I've seen people find a rosary or a set of prayer beads, or you can find people on Etsy that will hand make you prayer beads, right? And use those to say, okay, instead of saying the Hail Mary on this bead, I'm going to say this affirmation. And then instead of saying the Our Father, I'm going to say this affirmation. And then, you know, so on. You just kind of replace what affirmations you want to use for yourself in the place of those beads. And you can run through the whole rosary with your affirmations, right? This might be blasphemy. I'm not a Catholic anymore. Please, Catholics, don't come at me. I really love the rosary. I love the concept of it. I think it's a great tool, and I love that you guys do that. I just think that it's also a good idea to do something similar for your positive affirmations and really, really hammer those in. I think it's a great tool. So that's an idea of something that you can do. Boost to overall well-being. The culmination of the above benefits leads to an enhanced sense of well-being. With increased self-belief, optimism, clarity, and reduced stress, individuals often experience better mental, emotional, and even physical health. There's a ripple effect. As one's mindset shifts, it positively impacts various facets of life, from relationships to work, from health to hobbies. In conclusion, while positive affirmations may seem like simple statements, their impact is profound and multifaceted. By incorporating them into our daily routine, we gift ourselves a tool that, with consistent use, can transform our outlook, elevate our experiences, and enrich our lives. And you can also do this with meditation. Instead of a mantra, repeat one of your positive affirmations, right? You can do this with a lot of stuff. These are reading comprehension questions because this was for children. But this was not written as though it was for children. The wording of this would not be out of place in my PHP program, to be honest with you. So I think they did a great job. All right. I think I'm going to leave you there today. I feel like my outlook here is that I am struggling, but I am getting by. And I hope that even if you're struggling, you're still getting by. And I hope you can do something nice for yourself today. Maybe say a positive affirmation or two. And have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here with me.